Welcome to NASA Edge, an inside and outside look at all things NASA. Joining us today is our good friend Mike Ciannilli of the NASA Apollo Challenger Columbia Lessons Learned program. Thanks for coming on the show today, Mike.
Blair, thank you so much for the invitation.
You know, I really wanted to talk to you about this because Netflix has produced a new documentary series on the Challenger tragedy. And so it's trending quite positively right now on their viewership. And so I know some people are learning about the Challenger tragedy for the first time, but yet others are sort of reliving it all over again. And so I thought it would be really good to reach out to you and find out about how NASA is responding to the tragedies it's encountered through your program.
Certainly. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. And it's a very special moment to watch, as you well said, a whole new generation of folks learning about Challenger, and those of us that lived through that experience to relive it and to never forget what happened and the lessons we learned from that. And that goes in right into the mission of the ACC-LLP, which is the Apollo Challenger Columbia Lessons Learned program. Our mission is to, through the lens of history, to focus on the future. So we look at our past accidents of Apollo 1, successful failure mission Apollo 13, the loss of Space Shuttle Challenger, and the Space Shuttle Columbia loss. And we look at those and we look at the lessons that came through those experiences with the effort to learn them so well, understand the mechanisms that went into making those happen, and applying those to the future. So we have a huge array of activities here at NASA. We have commercial spaceflight happening. We have NASA programs of all different kinds. We're going back to the moon by 2024. We have Perseverance on our way to Mars. We've got a lot of exciting missions. It's a time at NASA, so we really want to make sure we take those lessons, everything we did learn in the past, make sure we really understand that and apply that to these new missions and programs that didn't even exist during the time of Challenger.
It's a really good point. And also you have a big challenge because people's lives were lost during these tragedies, and their family members were greatly impacted. And you really took that into consideration when you were developing this program. How are you honoring those families?
When we do talk about those stories, there's difficult elements to those. And we lost 7 heroes from Challenger, 7 from Columbia, and 3 in Apollo. Those were not only our national heroes, but those were our friends, those were our colleagues, and those were moms and dads and family members. So we want to make sure that our utmost priority is to protect those families, protect them, protect the legacy of the crew. That's very, very important to us. So how we do that is we share these messages, the lessons learned, but we make sure we do that in a very appropriate way. And we're very frank and honest about what missteps happened and what the causes and effects were of these different events. That's essential to getting to the point of being able to not repeat these mistakes, which is our goal, our tremendous goal. But we want to make sure we do with tremendous reverence and respect at the sacrifice and the memory of the crews that were involved in these incidences.
And what are some of the ways you're actually doing that? Like, say, for example, the Columbia Room, or activities where you talk about these tragedies and actually point out what we've learned?
We do it in a whole host of arrays, and that's one of the exciting things about this program. This program is an agency-level program, and we have a diverse array of ways we do that. So, for example, as you mentioned, we have the Columbia Preservation Room, which is a room in the Vehicle Assembly Building at the Kennedy Space Center. And we take folks on a storytelling journey through the artifacts and bring out the lessons learned through each part of the phases of the flight, so people understand the decisions that were made and how we progress through the flight and the aftermath as well. So we do it through face-to-face, in-person meetings in the Columbia Room. We also do it in ways the folks that can't come to the Kennedy Space Center, we actually travel to go see them. So we'll go to various locations around the country and actually go speak and before the audiences as well. We also work with multimedia project development. So we're creating television shows, we're creating podcasts, we're creating a movie documentary. We're doing lots of different multimedia methods so we can take those and now share those with an ever larger growing audience. And then as of late, Blair, as you can appreciate, and our folks can appreciate with this new world we're in, we're now as well taking ACC-LLP and we're reimagining how we share these lessons learned through a virtual frame. So we're looking at how we can not only share these very impactful messages through the virtual medium, but also how we can reach tremendously larger audiences that a virtual format allows us to do. So there's a whole host of ways that we reach our audiences.
This is really important, especially moving forward, because if we don't want to make these mistakes again and we don't want to forget, we need to find new ways, especially with our new limitations, to keep that message being put out there for the agency and others so we can be successful in every endeavor we do moving forward, especially with things like Artemis and more space flights coming down the line.
And that's exactly right. And I think one thing we've seen when you study Apollo 1 and when you study Challenger in Columbia and look through the accident reports, there's a lot of similarities. In some ways that's very frustrating, but it's also a very instrumental key for us of what to focus on. Again, looking how we could have done things better, but also looking at how we did things right. Because we have over 60 plus years of NASA history where a lot of times we got it spot on correct. So we don't want to also forget the lessons that came out of all of the good lessons, but we want to take both of those and then share those to those new programs, those new rockets, and a whole host of folks that in some cases weren't even born when Challenger happened or were very young during Columbia, but now they can learn from the experiences of their predecessors in the business, and they can apply those and go even farther, further, and more safely and successfully than we did. So we're excited about sharing that.
Very well said, Mike. Again, thanks for being on the program.
It is my pleasure. Thank you so much for the time today.
And for those of you that want to learn more about NASA's Apollo, Challenger, Columbia Lessons Learned program, we produced an entire episode on that program back in January. Visit our website, download it, and check it out. You're watching NASA Edge, an inside and outside look at all things NASA.